As many South Africans come together to celebrate the festive season, some people find themselves experiencing feelings of loneliness, grieving the loss of loved ones, or suffering anxiousness over financial troubles. This celebratory time of year is, for some, a time when they need support through challenges related to mental health. South African Depression and Anxiety Group call centre manager Tracy Feinstein joins us to discuss the festive season blues. Tracy, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, the festive season is associated with family time, gifts, food and rest. What are some of the harsh realities that some people experience, more so at such a time?
Good evening, and thank you so much to you and your viewers. Yeah, I think it's a false sense of reality that everybody is enjoying the festive season. Just listening to the previous stories, many people have lost loved ones. And you know, grief is not an illness, it is a process, and we all experience grief in different ways. People have also experienced a difficult year, and there are financial pressures on families. And then we also have the stress and burnout of a really busy year. And whilst social media and the world around us says, you know, have a wonderful time together, not everyone is able to spend time with their loved ones. People are in different provinces, people are in different continents, and we need to be very cautious and very careful as to how we provide support and how we also ask for support. And I think that's the message of hope that we want to give people. Don't do it alone. The helplines, the call centre, the counsellors are available to help those in need.
As you speak about listening to some of the stories that we're playing here on SABC News, I mean, the gentleman who lost his mother said for him, it almost feels like he's a newborn, trying to learn everything from scratch again without his mother's guidance, supporting his younger siblings. You've just said that grief is not an illness, it's a process. How does one begin the process of grieving and recognize that one is in a grieving process, but still needs to, you know, face an ordinary day-to-day life?
Yeah, it is. It's so difficult. But you know, grief, it hits all of us in different ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, for some people, it may be a time to come together and remember the memories of a loved one. So everyone's sitting around the table and sharing the laughs and the funny jokes and the happy times. That can be very purposeful. I also want to say to people, if you are missing a loved one, a spouse, a family member at this time, it's okay to cry. Those are probably tears of really fond memories. But it's also an opportunity now to create new traditions and new exciting activities that you will do with the people that are left around you.
Yeah.
And whilst we often talk about, you know, gardens of memories and lighting candles, it's also good to create new traditions. And again, if you don't know where to start, phone the counsellors, give us a call, and let us help you with suggestions that are really unique to your own situation.
And how can one offer support or even come to look for support? What would you need to be feeling to recognize that you need help, or perhaps see someone who does need the help?
Yeah. Again, you know, mental illness affects all of us in different ways, shapes and forms. But I always say that, you know, if it's going on inside your head and you're feeling overwhelmed, the emotions are just tears, or very often it could also be anger.
Yeah.
The behavior could be that people are starting to isolate. Just reach out a hand of kindness and say, you know what, I'm concerned about you. How can I help you? And very often, this is part of the stigma in understanding mental illness, is that we often feel we need to fix the other person's situation instead of just saying, I'm going to hold your hand, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to walk this journey to recovery for you and with you. And that's the first step. And for those that are suffering and they're feeling isolated, don't disconnect. At least respond to some of the messages, and try and go out. If somebody says, just come and join us, you don't even have to bring a meal, or come and visit us. We're going to just sit on the beach. Be brave enough to take that step and go.
Yeah.
It's hard to say no and isolate. And for many, you'll actually feel a little bit of extra love and TLC, and that goes a long way in helping you through this time when you are feeling down, alone, and battling through some really difficult times.
Yeah, absolutely. What about suffering anxiety over financial troubles, looking at perhaps not being able to cope with this festive season, all its demands, and now looking to the new year? What advice do you offer to someone in that headspace and not quite in the moment and enjoying what other people may be enjoying because, they simply are struggling financially?
Exactly. And I think we all need to be adult and responsible for our own finances. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to give huge, big gifts. In fact, the greatest gift is probably yourself, showing up and being present. And I know that it's hard for parents nowadays. The kids are seeing all these amazing toys, and if you go to the shopping centers, there's lights and Christmas and Father Christmas, and it all looks so magical. Try not to overspend. It's really not going to work in the long run. And it's probably a little bit too late, but maybe you can start planning for next year. Make some home gifts. It could be a meal. It could be a home craft. And that you could do and you could share with people around you. When we look at anxiety is when we worry extensively about things that are out of our control, especially our finances. It causes us to really feel that incredible anxiousness, and you get overwhelmed, and it's really difficult to manage, and some people will actually really battle and could even experience panic. And so again, don't do this alone. Talk to a counselor if you are exposed or have that predisposition that you may suffer with anxiety, or you've already been diagnosed with anxiety. You need to practice self-care. Be diligent with your routine at this time. For those people that are on medication, take your medication and don't mix it with alcohol. It's not good. And manage what you can. Be kind to yourself and learn to say no.
Yeah, some very sound advice indeed. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening as we round down that conversation. South African Depression and Anxiety Group Call Centre Manager Tracy Feinstein giving some advice during the festive season.